Hello, Dr. Kemp here, the Hammond Doc. I want to share something with you from the Benton literature on the evaluation of Leslie amplifiers. And in looking at the article on evaluating Leslie 122s, Benton, it talks about how to use your voltmeter to evaluate these capacitors to determine whether or not they are leaking DC voltage. Now, why is that important? Well, one reason it's important is because I have, for example, a very expensive LC, a Sencore LC 101 capacitor analyzer, which is designed for determining capacitor leakage. However, when I look at the criterion for determining whether or not a particular capacitor is leaking, the numbers do not go down this far in terms of the value. So this is a 0.005 microfarad capacitor. In the chart for my Sencore LC101, it goes down to 0.1 microfarad and then on up from there. So I needed another approach to evaluating whether or not these caps are leaking. Now, what I do is, of course, I'll remove these caps and replace them with brand new orange drops. So I'll remove the black caps. I'll also remove these Cornell WRs as well. But I just want to show you, according to that literature, Benton's literature, that you can determine if these capacitors that are at this low value, 0.00, this is 0.005 or 0.0047 microfarad capacitor is leaking DC voltage. And here's the way you do it according to Benton is we put our lead on one side of this 390k ohm resistor, and then we test the voltage. All right, so let me go ahead and cut this on. And those who are familiar with the testing of Leslie amplifiers will know that this is actually pin 5 of the 6550, in other words, known as the grid. So in doing this test, you're actually testing the grid of this particular tube, and you're anticipating 1 volt or less. You really would like to have it less, right? According to my friend Joe Drousseau, he says, Art, you want that. You want that voltage to be less than 1 volt. And so, here we go. Right now, we're looking at it, and I have the voltmeter turned to 117 volts. The variac turned to 117 volts. The voltmeter is testing it, and countdown is on millivolts. So if I give it some time, let that tube warm up. And that's the thing about this thing as well. You have to give this thing some time, give the tube some time to warm up to get an accurate measure. And it's warming up. And so, like Joe said, he says, Art, you want that in millivolts when you test that grid. And certainly that's what we have right now. Okay, so that's milli. All right, so we got a good connection there, and we got millivolts. All right, so far so good. So now what we're going to do is test the other side of this, on the side where this capacitor is attached to this resistor. And according to Ben, if it is higher on that side, then it would indicate that this capacitor is leaking DC voltage. So we see what we have here. We got millivolts, 193 millivolts, 200 millivolts on this side. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut it off. Turn off our power. All right. Then I'm going to go over here and change my lead to this side. All right. Now, that's pin 6. All right. Make sure it's not touching anything else. Good. Now I can turn my variac back on. Crank up the voltage. And in doing this, I am wearing my safety glasses. Here, I'll show you. Okay, so I'm wearing my safety glasses. Have to be safe in the shop. And let's see what we're getting. On this other side, as the tube is warming up, we're getting millivolts again, which is good. And it's coming on down. And it is there you go. So it's showing a little bit higher. Look, because look, it just jumped to 0.35. We were getting millivolts before, now we're getting volts. And so this side is showing a little bit higher. Look, it's showing higher than the front side. Remember the front side on that grid, we're getting millivolts. And now on pin 6, we're getting 0.47, 0.48 volts. So that would indicate to me that that particular capacitor is leaking some DC voltage. And so, as I said, I'm going to remove that anyway. I'm going to cut that out and replace it with orange drop capacitor. But I want to share that with you, and it's still climbing. So we went from millivolts to volts here, and that indicates a difference in terms of the value of voltage between the two sides of that resistor, thus indicating, according to Benton, that this capacitor is likely leaking DC volts. And of course, we could do the same thing with this one. All right, so that's it for this video. And this is Dr. Kemp, the Hammer Doc, bidding you a wonderful evening, and peace out.